이번 LCS 스프링 트로피가 저한테 있어서는 일단 제가 이번 시즌 시작하기 전에 인터뷰하면서 아무래도 처음 우승을 하는 것보다 그 다음 시즌에 1등 자리를 유지하는 게 더 힘들다고 말을 했었거든요. 근데 제가 했던 말을 어떻게 보면 지키는 거라서 뭐랄까 이번에도 트로피를 받게 된다면 더 자신의 실력에 대한 확신과 자신감을 얻을 수 있을 계기가 될 수 있을 것 같아요.
Welcome back to the LCS Finals. It is match point for Cloud9. They lead the series 2-1 after absolutely demolishing Golden Guardians in game number 3. They drafted Pure early game, and they beat Golden Guardians at their own strategy.
And you have to think that Cloud9 is just going to go right back to it, right? It's going to be up to Golden Guardians to now disrupt the status quo, to try to deny some of these super early game picks, or to go, even more early game themselves and really try to match fire with fire.
All right, right off the bat here, the Jace flex ban, the Elise to follow it up. Golden Guardians trying to protect against that.
Yep.
Well, the Vi continues to be banned as well, so 2 out of 3 early jungle bans here, along with that Jace.
Yeah, with that Elise and the Jace both getting banned out, clearly they are trying to shut down some of this early game aggression here from Cloud9. Maybe seeing the Elise as a little bit of a double ban, take away some of that combo with the Renekton. Perhaps the Renekton will drop in priority for Cloud9 as well.
I have been liking the Cloud9 when they banned the Lissandra versus Gori as well, to deny that, because the Jarvan-Lissandra combination that Golden Guardians were able to use versus FlyQuest was massive.
Maokai, the final ban of the first half of the draft for Golden Guardians. Annie was banned second by C9. Caitlyn will be their last ban before Golden Guardians gets first pick.
Feels like probably just Wukong first pick again.
Yeah.
And is, going to get locked in, setting up for that. So we'll see what the response is going to be from Cloud9. Xayah coming through. I do always like Xayah as a response to Wukong, and Golden Guardians in general. I talked about it earlier. They've been playing heavy dive comps.
Yeah.
Lots of Kennen, lots of melee champs throughout playoffs for Licorice as well. So the Xayah is going to be a good response to that, and they're just going to snatch that right up.
Xayah and Rakan next to her. Remember that back in the first game, where Golden Guardians had a big advantage, the Zeri was paired with Rakan as sort of the Enchanter plus Engager type of option. So if they lock in this Zeri for Stixxay, nope, they're going to change it up. This time, they want to pilot the Lucian Nami.
And they have done so successfully throughout playoffs. Golden Guardians, the other team that has really benefited from this duo. Now the question for Cloud9, do you want to snap up the Sejuani first, or are you fine to have Blaber drop into his very deep jungle champion pool?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what the answer is. So much of the series has felt about bot lane. Vulcan on the desk talking about what that prio through bot lane gives you, how much easier it is to play for the jungler, how much easier it is for your mid laner to play as well, and huhi loves those roams toward mid. And Cloud9 are not going to be willing to give up everything. They are going to be grabbing this LeBlanc from the last game. Really the pick that I think Emenes is most known for.
And I love the fact that they're not afraid to just blind it, slap that pick down. They're not worrying about, flex pick Cassante or this other stuff that was getting beaten in the early game in the first couple of times. This ran the game. Why not run it back?
I think now you definitely throw the Lissandra ban. You protect it a little bit with your double bans here. Maybe even the Ahri or something along the way as well.
Yeah, I always do like solo lane pick on 3 for red side, because you do the double protection ban after that. So you can kind of have a pretty good matchup generally there, and then you have your 5th pick counter pick for last. So you're going to get pretty good solo lane matchups generally across the board. We'll see what their second ban is going to be. As with the LeBlanc coming through, Lee Sin makes sense as a ban. Generally you're going to be banning AD jungle pairings. Jarvan is still available. I'm not sure if he would be willing to go towards that. I can't really recall Blaber playing a lot of Jarvan in the past.
Good double bans here to protect it. Sejuani, I think, as well, even though it's not a big killer threat, super good for this draft right now for Cloud9, so they might double ban on jungle here.
Golden Guardians got 1 ban left to go next to that Lee. The Lissandra and Ahri banned out by Cloud9. Gonna pinch the pool a little bit for Gori. What will it be, Golden Guardians? It's gotta count. Nocturne.
Ooh.
Blaber has been one of the earliest to return to Nocturne as far as LCS junglers go, and does have a Rakan to play with for some super deep dives, so.
Yeah, and like I was talking about, he hasn't played a single Jarvan game this whole split, so maybe they're thinking that is more of a likely AD jungle pairing. Xin Zhao, another primo one that he could go towards, would make a lot of sense. Playing towards that early game style that they did last game. Poppy jungle, this is actually interesting because this could be Poppy jungle or top, depending on the matchup.
Yeah.
I do actually think it's pretty viable in both. I don't know how you're feeling about Poppy jungle these days, Kobe.
Poppy jungle, okay. I actually feel better about that than the Xin Zhao. To me, Xin is so risky, especially in pro play. There's just so many ways where you can get caught out. You have to blow your ult, you have to blow your flashes, and you become a liability in a lot of these scenarios where you do not get really good duels.
And Poppy has a very potent ability to stop the dashes of champions like Wukong or like Lucian. Remember, if Lucian tries
Silas
to dash in to finish somebody off, that could be a problem.
Silas is up.
Malphite's locked in, Galio's locked in. Will they take the Silas?
Give me Silas top. I want to see it. I think Silas should go top. You put Blaber in the jungle and just lock that in, man. If Fudge is comfortable playing it, there are some really good ultimates to steal. The Wukong ult is great. Lucian ultimate can be great, chunk people down prior. Galio ultimate is really effective. Malphite ultimate is pretty. Like, I think across the board is really strong. This would be a little bit of a surprise to me. You can run him over early, but if you do not, it does get difficult. I will say, though, you ignore basically all the CC, and that is going to be the key thing here, is Galio's not going to be able to stop you. Nami wave not going to be able to stop you. You're just going to be charging straight for this Wukong. So they're kind of betting it all on it.
Golden Guardians is a wombo combo team. Malphite, Wukong, Galio engaged here with Nami wave coming through as well. It is an all-in type of situation, and since Fudge will be looking for those 1v1s with tanks and be able to go CC immune for the team fights too. Rest of Cloud9 are pretty mobile. Xayah with the ultimate here for disengage. LeBlanc always fishing around side angles too. We'll see how effectively Golden Guardians can actually corral this team.
And it is going to be interesting because potentially, we could have seen a lot of MR stacks had it been a Silas, so maybe they're worried about top side, going too much value from that. But picking an AD matchup into the Malphite is always somewhat risky. It's going to be W max, it's going to be grasp, and Licorice is even playing Ghost. So really just a little bit of tech here to actually answer the matchup. I wonder if he will go Swifties as well, or if he's just going to feel there's too much value from Tabbies. Because Swifty's definitely really good for that 1v1, but armor stacking is going to be incredible, and we'll see if Cloud9 or Golden Guardians are going to be able to pull it back to Game 5, or can Cloud9 close it out right now.
Let's do it. Game number 4. If C9 win it, they're your champions. Their first seed at MSI. They're the ones walking away with the trophy, and the games are done. If Golden Guardians wins, the all too familiar tune of Silver Scrapes plays again in Raleigh.
There's double sweeper start here for Cloud9, so they're definitely going to go hunting for some of these wards. Zven clears out bottom side. Emenes still has another sweeper to activate, so they could go looking for the one behind red, but doesn't look like they're bringing anyone else.
Okay, let's look around and see exactly what we've got everywhere this game. Ghost teleport on both of our top laners. You already mentioned Licorice having it just to try to deal with the Olaf running at him. Ignite for Emenes' LeBlanc in the mid lane for extra kill threat too.
Yeah, it is Ignite and Electrocute, so this is maximum burst here that they are really looking for. It's not just about that lane, but it is potentially against Stixxay, being able to really chunk him out. It's kind of a one carry threat.
He's gonna find that ward. He's going to find the ward. Emenes goes in for the late kill on the ward. We'll get the level 2. So, yeah, with Ignite, with Electrocute, all these things you're talking about for the level 2 power spike here for LeBlanc, he's going to go very hard on Gori.
We'll see. Do they want to get aggressive here?
And remember how strong Xayah and Rakan are at level 1. If they can get the jump on you, these two can do so much damage. Berserker and Zven playing it very patiently.
Yeah, huhi seems well aware of it. He's staying further back. Really, he's the only one you could look for that kind of full-on, all-in on, because he's not playing Cleanse. The Fudge trying to play this aggressive. They do catch that Lucian there. Cleanse is going to be popped, and Flash.
They get both summoner spells out of the Lucian. It cost them their Ignite and their heal, but critically, both C9 players still have the Flash.
Well, yeah, exactly, and that puts a huge target on Stixxay's back. No Cleanse. Blaber has Flash. You can get your butt down there as a jungler and see what you can make happen.
Gori gets locked down. Emenes with the Ignite. One more auto attack. They do it! First blood, Ignite, Electrocute, execution in the mid lane.
Oh my goodness, he makes that LeBlanc pocket pick work. Gets the experience off the extra ward here. Gori still level 1, teleporting back the lane. And Emenes just dinging 3.
Yeah, Gori was 1 minion short of actually getting level 2 there. You know, all the melees have been killed for Emenes, so he had been level 2 for a while, and Gori was trying to push for that last final minion to get to himself, couldn't quite get it. Now Blaber up to top side. This is one of the weaknesses of this Malphite. A stacked wave early on. You cannot deal with these dives well.
Okay, they're gonna start it off with Blaber slamming him into the wall. They kill him so easy. Cloud9 gets their second kill.
And look at the farm. He got 3 CS there up in that top lane before basing. After that death, he spends the ghost. There's no flash to outplay. It's better in the extended 1v1, but he loses so much. And yes, he's gonna be able to pick up some of that farm after he TP's back, but his buy was a refillable. That's it.
That's really bad.
And Blaber didn't have to blow flash for that either. He can now clear bottom side and look for bottom side plays as well. Here's Emenes again, staring him down with the level 2, distortion in, chain hits, ignite down, you're dead.
And Gori's just trying to get in range for that XP. He's not even trying to CS. You know, he's just trying to stand in range, soak those melees. And this is one of the big weaknesses of Malphite. People will talk about it. Yeah, Malphite is really strong if you let him get through the laning phase, but in the early levels, he's very weak. Pops the ghost to try to make something happen. But the angle is found by Blaber, and that buckler keeps him alive from that final turret shot as well. Really good execution on that. And Licorice is going to have a hell of a time in this lane now.
Blaber coming bottom, looking for another gank. He shoves Stixxay back. The Blade Caller gets him rooted. They need one more auto from Berserker, and they get it. Cloud9 3-0.
Blaber is coming up huge. He does exactly.
Oh, nice from huhi.
Blaber does exactly what we're talking about, though. He gets the kill on top side, and then bottom side never expects an immediate rotation over there to go for the second kill. Blaber skips all his bottom camps. He goes straight from the top side tower dive into a bottom side tower dive. The extra kill going over, though, big stuff from huhi to grab one back.
Yeah, really nicely done. Berserker, though, could go aggressive here. That looks like a dead Nami on my screen.
Nicely done. Berserker's eating sushi, and it looks like huhi. Beautiful from the AD carry. 2-0-0 on the Xayah, and now Emenes is getting away from River. The Wukong has not been able to get involved in the game yet, while Blaber is 1-0-1. C9's early game feeling good in game 4.
Yeah, really, really big, especially because it's not just 2 regular ganks, it's 2 dives, right? Being able to pull those off, it's so frustrating when the wave is stacked towards you, you miss out on all that farm.
And a 2-kill lead for Berserker. Huge performance in the previous game, set up for success in this game on the Xayah, one of the most safe AD carries that you can have, even when looking at the tremendous amount of dive that Golden Guardians have drafted.
And we can see it one more time. Blaber just wrapping around. They had the tri-brush pink warded. I don't think he was spotted here. And I believe, you know, just goes straight on in. Flashes behind him, knocks him back into the team. There was no cleanse, there was no flash. The follow-up route is there from Berserker, and just gets that final auto before pulling it back. Zven trying to just get these, probably tries to get the execute on the cannon minion, and it's just going forward to get those Targon stacks. huhi flashes in, catches him with the W bounce. Really nicely done to get one back.
Yep, huhi was eyeballing him. Berserker laughing as his lane mate goes down. He's still happy though. He's got his money.
The money for Cloud9 over 1,000 gold ahead, just 6 minutes in. That Drake is spawned. It is a first Drake being Cloud, which means generally it's not going to have that powerful early impact like something like an Ocean or a Hextech would, so teams might not prioritize it as heavily, but Cloud9 has control over the game right now. Blaber with the Ionian Boots of Lucidity already purchased, right back out onto the map, walks over a control ward, and may be able to set up for a Drake play here with Berserker and Zven controlling bot.
Yeah, absolutely. And while I totally agree with you, Cloud is not the best early dragon. It has been such a priority in this series and across our playoffs in general. So many games playing for Soul. He's got a Hex Flash over this wall. They know that they just actually cleared out Tri-Brush, so they could potentially look for something again, but Golden Guardians are not contesting at Tri-Brush, so I think Blaber is probably going to pull back and just look towards this dragon play.
Yep. Walking up north now.
Or
thinking about it. Zven's really testing these guys.
You have to be very careful when messing around with a dive now because Galio's level 6 and Golden Guardians are a very ult-reliant team. So once they get Wukong ultimate as well, expect them to look for a big play. River and Gori have consistently throughout this entire playoffs been big mid-game factors for the Golden Guardians.
And I think especially with Blaber having no flash and knowing that Stixxay's sums are both back up, it would be a really ill-advised dive to try to go for unless they have them super chunk. So instead, they'll pull back. They have the cover on that push from Blaber, and they grab that first dragon.
Taking the freebie, 7.5 minutes in. Pretty much expected for the timers so far. River's only level 5. Emenes just jumps in to kill him. They force the Galio ulti to keep River alive.
That's the type of mid laner you want, CaptainFlowers. One that will hunt the enemy jungler, get the Galio ultimate down already. Now you don't have to worry about that big play we were setting up.
Oh, and you know what the worst part of it is? It's a 3-minute cooldown on the Galio ultimate this early on. He's got no CDR, and he's got level 1 on that ulti. So he's not getting to see that thing again for a long time.
You would have loved to have something like that for a Rift Herald fight, but unfortunately for Golden Guardians, I think Cloud9's going to want to force that before they get a chance to have the cooldown back. Huhi has rotated up into the mid lane. Emenes with the flash into chains. Huhi gets bound up. Now he's got to try to get away. Blaber wants the angle for the charge, but he just ends up inting it. He got too thirsty for the kill.
Too hypey there, Blaber. He definitely wanted too much because Cloud9 already were set up with some pretty good scenarios here for that Rift Herald, and now it is a Golden Guardians turn.
That's what you get with Blaber, man. He's going to play really aggressive, and Blaber will give it, but Blaber will also take it away. And too aggressive on that play. It wasn't a nice initial play, not getting that knockback and trying to set it up, but they didn't have the damage to do it.
Man, you want to talk about aggressive? Fudge is going in with the Ragnarok, chasing after River, forces him back. Now Zven and Emenes are trying to put more damage on the remaining players. Fudge gets thrown up into the air by Licorice. Blaber tackles Licorice, just trying to keep him away from Fudge. Everybody's going after everybody all over these small skirmishes here in the larger fight. Licorice still hanging around, trying to clear out some of these wards. Won't get the last hit on that one. Emenes and Zven moving forward. Blaber finds a charge into the wall, but it's only under River's clone. Now Sven's wanting to lock down Licorice, and Emenes gets the kill. A Gori taunt only finds one, and he doesn't have the damage to finish off Fudge. Fudge gets the kill back, and Cloud9 get 2.
Blaber, he hex splashes over and he pins Licorice against the wall, knowing there's no Malphite ultimate, and he's spellbook on the ghost over there. I mean, he's not even spellbook, he's grasp. His ghost is permanent, so there's no way he's getting out of there, and he finally will get the Rift Herald. It's classic Blaber. Yeah, he ints on one play, but then gets right back up and makes a big play in its place.
Yeah, absolutely. And Golden Guardians, just stuck around too long. When you don't have Wukong ultimate, when you don't have Malphite ultimate, these champions are not going to get much done for you. Lucian's down on bot side, so they really had no business, I think, staying around this long. This initial play, Fudge is going in aggressive with the ulti. As soon as the flash is forced, his ult is going to expire, so he's just going to back it up. But then you can see Licorice at the top of your screen spends his ulti here very aggressively on flash, and I just didn't really think there was anyone in the area to follow up. You look how far away Gori is. He doesn't have ult. Huhi's not in position either, so they're never going to have the damage to make it happen. Now they're going to look for a dive again.
Blaber with those hex flashes just won't give him a break. Fudge gets the kill, 7-2 C9.
Blaber is having a hell of a game here. River, I think, outperforming in the first 2 games, especially in the early game, and Blaber took that personally, coming back with a vengeance here in Game 3 and again in Game 4.
And the beneficiaries are all of his carry teammates here. Every lane for Cloud9 is a carry champion, so Blaber having success in all 3 lanes with these ganks is setting up everybody with gold leads across the board. You can see bounties already on all 3 of them.
I mean, it's going to be a tough one for Golden Guardians, and they do have really good engage, but it's so difficult to actually lock down any of these carries. Who do you go for? The LeBlanc who can distort away, the Xayah who has ultimate, or Fudge?
Oh, River, he's just gonna die if he isn't careful, or maybe they can turn it around instead. Beautifully done. They reinforce their jungler, and they shut down Emenes.
The magic damage shield from that Galio ultimate coming in clutch, just barely keeping him alive. They spend a lot to get the kill, but they do get that kill on Emenes.
Remember, too, whenever you're playing these little skirmishes 50 seconds before a dragon, now that long cooldown is not going to be there. Wukong ult, Galio ult, Malphite ultimate. That is the composition for Golden Guardians. That's the whole thing right there. And they got 1 kill, but Cloud9 with a Rift Herald and a dragon coming their way, probably like those timers.
Absolutely, and I think for sure Golden Guardians are just going to have to give it up.
Oh,
Here's another hex flash play.
Blaber slams him into the turret. The follow-up from Zven to throw Gori into the air as Berserker uses the blade calling to get the kill. They find him, and they're gonna find multiple plates to go with it. Emenes wants to get Stixxay, but with huhi behind him, it's Emenes who's in trouble. He gets out with 200 HP, but he has to abandon the turret. Blaber wraps around now, but he finds a control ward, so he can't just make the surprise move.
Yeah, and Blaber's very low, so this would be risky. He's got to wait for reinforcement here. Zven arrives. You can see Berserker is pushing out mid lane, and you look picture in picture. This is Fudge getting aggressive in that 1v1. He might take this.
Nope,
Okay.
but he does get the ghost out of Licorice instead.
Should be the dragon there for Cloud9 because of the mid lane dive. And again, not having those ultimate cooldowns that make up the entire identity of the Golden Guardians comp. So Cloud9 still very happy with that one, even though it gets a little dicey on the bottom side of the map. Emenes playing around with the Lucian Nami combination. Doesn't bite him this time around though, and C9 get to push their plan forward. 2 dragons now with that 3,000 gold lead. Blaber, somebody might have to get him a backup flash key because he's gonna wear this first one out with the hex flashes and flashes, ganking every single lane on cooldown.
He just isn't stopping with the playmaking here in the match point game for C9. Golden Guardians have got to find some way to stop this bleeding. Cloud9 just keeps accelerating the game. The 2 Drakes means that if they get just one more, then the pressure's on for the rest of the game. Because they've been started early, that could happen easily before 20 minutes. And with not controlling the Rift Herald, Golden Guardians are struggling to find themselves a decent footing to try to come back, to try to find any spot to fight from.
And I gotta say, Emenes' build is a little bit perplexing to me. It looked like almost like he's just going like straight like Shadow Flame or something first, not going towards a mythic right away. It was a little bit confusing.
Just rushing that spell pen, I guess. Normally you will see players go for one of the mythics that provides the spell pen bonus on completion. But Cloud9 now seeing if maybe they might be able to catch the Golden Guardians in the river here. River and Gori both still hanging around. The Galio ulti not quite up. Kobe, you said it earlier. Golden Guardians, the composition is the 3 ults from the top side. If those 3 are not available, you do not fight.
Exactly, and Cloud9 know it, and they've been playing around it quite nicely. Blaber constantly forcing plays all over the map here, getting these cooldowns out so that Cloud9 can keep such a quick pace. Meanwhile, Fudge on the Olaf has had a time of his life up there, popping his ultimate whenever he wants versus Licorice. Holds it this time.
Fudge is ready. He's popping the ghost. He's got Ragnarok. They want to take Licorice down. They'll get him, but Fudge is going to die in trade. Blaber looking to see if he can get an angle on somebody valuable. Tries to slam huhi into the wall. Doesn't quite get the terrain connection. Emenes jumps in really close to bursting Stixxay down there, but not quite enough damage.
Yeah, not quite enough damage to actually finish him off. And I've just been thinking about it because it was actually a full-on Shadow Flame rush, which I don't know that I've seen before. You know, it does have the flat 20 spell pen that is there if someone has been recently affected by a shield. So Malphite, passive shield. Galio, passive shield. Nami, Aerie is going to apply a shield as well. So maybe he's just feeling that he's going to get enough value out of that passive. I have no idea on the math on this, but against a lot of these champions, he's going to have the full straight 20 spell pen most of the time.
It is a lot combined with Sorcerer's Shoes, combined with what I am expecting to be the sudden impact rune to give you the extra M-Pen on dash. So maybe there is some sort of a secret there with manipulating the amount of shields.
He's cooking. We don't know if it's good or not, but he's cooking.
Yeah,
something.
I don't know what's in the food, but something's
might be
getting
garbage, but it might be brilliant.
Might be delicious. We'll have to wait and see. As Cloud9 still has about the same lead they had a couple of minutes ago, Golden Guardians at least, things aren't getting any worse, but they're not getting any better.
And with the Rift Road coming up, it might get worse a little bit quicker. They can push in on this top tower and get second Rift Road without really a response from Golden Guardians. They could try and push out mid, but Cloud9 already deleted that minion wave, so they're going to be able to grab this one, and all they have to do is alert Fudge, hey, guess what? You are weak side. There are 2 objectives on the top side of the map, so play safe.
First turret destroyed top lane. That's a 4,000 gold lead for C9. Golden Guardians trying to get a little bit of control here around the bottom side river. Do they even want to fight for this 3rd Drake? They're so far behind that they really have to consider, is it worth it to try to stop them from reaching Soul Point now? Or do you just cut the losses and then have to fight every Drake thereafter?
I think they kind of fight because you look over at Cloud9's side, none of them are on 2 items, and you all have your 1 item completion point. So I think as far as the gold deficit goes, you know, this is about as good as it's going to get. Because if you wait till the next dragon after that, Cloud9 will for sure have their next item completion. Something worth pointing out, though, Zven going for the Even Shroud, which I am really a fan of. I actually think it's a lot better than Shurelya's in most cases. The bonus damage during CC is really, really powerful.
Yeah.
And he's also grabbed a stopwatch here, so he is going to have some pretty heavy playmaking ability, in this next fight.
And with the advantage Cloud9 have already built, one big sweeping victory in a fight can put this game from tough but manageable to unmanageable without a throw territory for the Golden Guardians. So I really want to see this Wombo combo pop off if Golden Guardians intend to fight for this Drake. The Wukong, the Malphite, the Galio, all need to be on the same page. Gori's ulti still not up just yet. That icon has not fully cooled down.
All right, Golden Guardians are on a timer right now because they've got an Olaf beating down top turret, a Rift Herald taking mid turret for the Xayah, and time is just not working in their favor. They're going to try and rush down this dragon, but they're going to lose so much gold for it, and Blaber can still get here for a possible ultimate on the Poppy into a steal.
They're going to TP in. They're going to look for this. Zven is in the back of the pit now.
Blaber knocks Licorice away, and now they're ready to fight. Blaber jumps into the middle of 3, but now he has to disengage as River's ready to try to get a kill back. Stixxay fires off the culling. Fudge is ready to fight in the middle of everyone. The Ragnarok for the CC immunity as Berserker goes on a rampage, and they kill Stixxay. Now River's got the kill at least back onto Blaber, but it's the double for Berserker, and Licorice, huhi, and Gori all have to run.
Beautiful macro there from Cloud9, pushing top, Rift Herald mid, then coming in with the Poppy ultimate to section across Golden Guardians. Emenes isn't done. huhi is going to live another day.
They get so much from that. I mean, they got the tier 2 top before he even TP'd in. They got a crash on that mid tier 2 as well. So that is an auto or two away from actually getting finished off. They're pushing down bot lane. Cloud9 are getting so close to their title here, so close to finishing the series against Golden Guardians. We can watch this fight one more time.
Boop, goodbye Fudge, and then Blaber goes for the initiation onto the Golden Guardians bottom lane. He gets Wukong ult, Galio ultimate, and both of them pinned over there towards the wall, but we've got a dead Lucian on our screen.
All that's left is his guns.
So, about that Shadow Flame, I'm guessing Emenes
It's working.
tastes good.
With the enemy AD carry dead for the 3rd time this game, Cloud9 now have a free soul point. That's 3 Drakes to nothing for this squad. Man, the Golden Guardians are in a rough spot.
They absolutely are, and we can see this Emenes from Fog is really strong, has so much flat pen. As soon as Stixxay dashes in, he knows he's got him because he had already spent the flash and the cleanse in the previous fight. That dash alone was all he needed to have that go button. Goes in, knocks him down.
Yeah, no crazy mechanics needed in a double distortion there. Thirst him down.
So what's the plan, my friends? If you're Golden Guardians, do you just cross your fingers and pray that you get the setup for the 3 ultis?
I mean, you have to. That's the only thing your comp has, right? So it's got to be perfect Malphite ult, Wukong ult over top, Galio ult over the top. Somehow Lucian isn't getting killed off by the Olaf and whatnot, and the fight just happens, right? But I talked about it earlier. Who do you target with this? Are you confident you can 100-0 the LeBlanc before he moves from CC and distorts away? Are you confident you can actually kill off the Xayah before Xayah can react at the ultimate? Are you confident you can burst down this Olaf who has a Jack show? Because I'm not confident that he can do it to anyone.
huhi always has to be so careful, man, because Emenes is just trying to do this every time. Not quite enough damage to get the kill, but they put him at 100 HP, they get both of his summoner spells, and they send him back to the fountain as they can continue applying pressure in the top side jungle of Golden Guardians.
It's just so difficult because versus LeBlanc towards the later stage of the game, you usually want a point and click to make it so that LeBlanc can't at will go for these poke combos, but guess what? You don't want to expend your full team composition, Malphite ultimate and everything on the LeBlanc that's just poking you, and it's even hard to pin him down, so Emenes is being very annoying while the rest of Cloud9 can just retreat back to this Baron. 5,000 health and dropping, but Golden Guardians are here.
Golden Guardians want to fight for it. Blaber with a nice disengage. That's the power of the Poppy. There's no steal ever when Poppy can just throw you back home. Cloud9 get the Baron and they disengage.
This game is one giant Poppy gap, okay? Blaber has successfully ganked every single lane, as well as ejecting Golden Guardians members for these objectives. They're gonna dive.
Nice. Can they actually kill him? Yes. Stixxay gets the kill with one of the shots from the culling. They get the objective bounty on the tier 1. That's kind of the only way they're killing Emenes, and they found the angle.
Yeah, they did get the kill, but just barely, even throwing everything in the kitchen sink. That's Malphite ult, that's the Nami ult, the Lucian ult, everything expended there, including the Gale Force. And now Cloud9 knows we got nothing to be scared of. We're just going to walk straight at you. We have a big gold lead. You don't have any of your tools to fight, and Blaber found.
Blaber is not happy just trying to steal away a red buff. He wants another kill, but huhi manages to escape as Blaber heads back to the red now to finish what he started. Fudge is pushing up mid, using the Baron for that. The minion wave's gonna join him soon. Licorice is up in top lane, just trying to get an objective bounty on the tier 1. Close the gold gap a little, because they know they only have 2 minutes until the Ocean Soul spawns.
And Licorice doesn't have his ulti anyway, so him being grouped with the team doesn't really do much of anything for them. I think he's just gonna continue trying to push this out. He'll base now and try to regroup with the team, but Cloud9 are just extending the gold lead so damn fast. It's up over 8,000 now. And this Ocean Soul is going to be available here in 1:30. We'll have to see, is Golden Guardians even going to leave their base to try to fight for that? Because that would really be staking your finals on that one fight. That would be their final shot. But you have to think, if you give over Ocean Soul, there's not really much of a chance.
There's not much of a backup plan to
Yeah.
be able to fall back on here, so they kind of have to. Cloud9, with the remnants of the Baron buff, it was nullified a bit by the Golden Guardians' plan to dive Emenes and get that tower. So even though they're in such a bad situation, they were still able to make some sort of play out of it and get the mid turret, get that single kill. Now you just got to kind of hope and just sit on Fog of War, sit on these control wards.
And you can tell Cloud9 are very confident, very comfortable in their current position in the game. We saw the very stoic player cams earlier. This game, we saw Berserker having a good time. We saw question mark pings on Blaber's failed Hex Flash because they're not worried. They know they can just disengage these plays. They know how far ahead they are, and they know how dire this game state is for the Golden Guardians. 25 seconds left of the Baron buff for C9. 30 seconds until the Drake spawns.
Yeah, this is going to be a really tough one here for Golden Guardians. And Cloud9 just need to keep them pinned in their base because they know there's no vision. Look at the minimap. You know, where is their farthest forward ward? They got one up here on that top side. It is a dark and scary place outside of the Golden Guardians base. So it just doesn't feel like they're even in a position where they could try to attempt to steal or anything whatsoever.
Emenes, so fearless on the LeBlanc. Over the wall, just goofing around in the enemy base, seeing what kind of damage he can get down, keeping everybody distracted. As long as LeBlanc is the first thing on your mind, Drake can't be. Emenes jumps over the wall, quick little snap of damage onto Stixxay, right back to his origin point. Because the entire time, the Drake was taken, and it's Ocean Soul for Cloud9.
Now that LeBlanc got even more annoying, Emenes can keep going for these poke distortions, and even if you can get some chip damage on him, if you don't kill him, he's healing right back up. Fudge on the top side has been living here, constant pressure, and Cloud9 now with the Ocean Soul. Really not much standing between them and a repeat finals. Blaber said this is one thing that he really still needs to accomplish in his career, and he's putting in a lot of work to do at this game.
Blaber's Poppy, 1, 2, and 7. 66% kill participation, the highest on the team here for Cloud9. We don't have anybody with like that 90%, 100% KP because of the fact the fights have been all over the place. It's been small skirmishes. Everybody's not involved in these huge team fights, which is a good demonstrator of Cloud9 playing the game in a way that doesn't let Golden Guardians comp succeed. Because Golden Guardians want to fight 5v5.
Absolutely, and that's why you have Emenes off on the side, looking for these solo missions. Fudge constantly split pushing. They're not allowing them these opportunities to just group 5, walk it down mid, and have a 5v5, right? Now that is really what Golden Guardians is hoping for, but Cloud9 are denying them at every turn. And while Blaber does not have 100% KP, he has been so instrumental in creating this advantage in this game. You know, multiple dives in the early minutes of the game. Goes top, finds that dive on a stack wave, goes bot, gets another dive, is constantly aggressive and finding plays for Cloud9.
And I will say his solo laners have also helped out in the jungle fight a lot. Both Emenes finding River in the jungle, igniting him, chunking him out, burning Galio ultimates, then Fudge as well, popping the Olaf ultimate, chasing down the Wukong, burning his own ultimate. The solo laner's been attacking that Wukong as much as Blaber has been attacking the laners for him.
Absolutely, and I think it's a great point. You know, the Galio ultimate is such a key component of this composition. It just never really felt like they got to use it aggressively. Every single time, it has to be used to just bail someone out, try to save someone, which allows Cloud9 to just disengage from the fight. Never once have we seen that used aggressively as they're diving in on someone's head.
Fudge in bottom lane now. This
I don't even know if they win
Olaf.
that 1v2.
Yeah, no, there's absolutely no way they win that. He's got Jack Show, he's got the plated steel caps, he's got Randuin's. Wukong can't do any meaningful damage to him. I'm pretty sure he heals through whatever Galio's gonna do. Plus he's got Ocean Soul, Ravenous to heal him up. This guy is just an absolute war machine here in this side lane. There's all the damage gone. Right back up to full HP. Now he can go back into the jungle of the enemy team. That vision that you talked about earlier, Isaac, it's getting even darker for the Golden Guardians.
I think this Baron has Cloud9's name all over it. They're going to keep Golden Guardians pinned inside the base and just let Berserker melt that thing.
And I think at this point, you know, for Golden Guardians, oh, they're going to go for a pick. We'll see if they can find it.
They want to try to catch Fudge here. Fudge he still has the Ragnarok. He hasn't even used it. There, he finally claims it, throws the undertow back. The angle isn't there on the culling. Now Zven swoops through him. They can't even kill Fudge. They threw the kitchen sink at him, and he didn't care.
And look at top lane. They're already pushing the base here. Going to be able to crack this first inhibitor turret. Uncontested. Cloud9 are getting closer and closer to this championship. They can taste it, pushing down multiple lanes with the Baron buff. This could be the last stand for Golden Guardians.
Golden Guardians gotta try to fight here. They have no Malphite ult, they have no Wukong ult, they have no top lane inhibitor, and they have no gold to compare to Cloud9. Berserker is dominating. They knock one of the remaining defenders away as River is forced back into the fountain, or at least the clone was. Now Cloud9 are gonna finish off the real deal. River falls, Licorice is about to go next. Gori and huhi stand alone. Cloud9 don't lose a man. They march through the Nexus turrets. They march through the remaining players. They're the champs, and they're the champs back to back. The LCS shines bright blue, and Cloud9 are your Spring 2023 champions.
What a series, what a battle between these two teams. Cloud9, everyone gathering around Emenes there, who's overcome by emotion, subbed in for this team halfway through the split, thought by many to be one of the best, if not the best mid laner in the league, and he takes victory here already with Cloud9 in his first split.
Cloud9, the organization, having that trust in him means so much to him, and you can see it there. Meanwhile, on the opposite side, the Golden Guardians came into this series with so much confidence, and they were playing like it. Big early games, not able to pull it out versus C9, the champs though.
And you know Golden Guardians wish they could do that first game over, because that game looked so won up until they lost their focus, up until those wheels started to come off and Cloud9 came back. But Cloud9 having that tenacity, having that ferocity, even when the game looks doomed, that's what sets them apart.
Best of fives at this elite level are so much about adjustments, and it was Cloud9 who were able to pivot after the early game struggles in the first game, in the second game. They go into game 3, they go all early game. They go into game 4, they early pick the LeBlanc before it can be banned away. They take away the Olaf. They are the ones looking to be aggressive, and they are the ones who, as a result, will hoist the LCS trophy for LCS 2023 Spring.
Hoist it high, boys. Cloud9 will be the LCS's #1 representative at the upcoming international competition at MSI. Golden Guardians will follow right behind them as the #2 representative. And Emenes, you can just see how much it means to him, to all these guys. Blaber spoke about wanting to get his 4th title, wanting to get it in that back-to-back format. Zven role swapping from AD carry down to support. getting it done again and again. Berserker showing us that he's not just the MVP because of a Draven game. He's the MVP because he's really damn good at League of Legends.
I mean, Cloud9 have only known winning since they've known Berserker. Smile on his face.
And Fudge, the last name that I didn't mention because he's the one that I want to mention so much. This is the guy who in game number 1, his Olaf tore through people. This is the guy who said, screw it, I'll play Prowler's Claw Renekton, and was able to find that niche in the early game composition. Fudge is continuing to raise the bar for top laners in the league and show you what it means to be an aggressive top laner.
Absolutely. You know, we posed the question yesterday to Licorice, can he overcome the immovable object that is Impact? Today was a very different question. It was two unstoppable forces going at each other, and it was Fudge really taking over, it felt like, in this series, getting the better of Licorice, performed incredibly well throughout those 5 games. And it's just been such a consistent force for Cloud9. You know, both when he's in the top lane, swapped over to mid, back to top lane where I feel like he belongs, and has really excelled.
Both teams will be bound for MSI to represent the LCS in international play. Golden Guardians, their fairy tale story does not end here.
And they're so deserving of all of the credit that is going to be given to them after this weekend, after this run. A team that was never expected to make it to North Carolina, let alone to be in the finals, let alone to be pushing Cloud9, to be taking a game off Cloud9. This team really has taken it to the next level, and I'm happy that they're going to be representing us at MSI.
We've been calling it a Cinderella story for Golden Guardians here in the playoffs, and you could say yes, the clock struck midnight here today with Cloud9 defeating them. But tomorrow's another day. Next month is another tournament, and it's another chance for the Golden Guardians to continue improving, continue finding this play style that trumps so many teams in the LCS. Let's not forget that to get here, they had to take down the 2 North American GOATs on 100 Thieves. They had to take down the champs from last spring in Evil Geniuses, and then this weekend, they had to take down the team that for the longest time was favored to win the split. Golden Guardians did great, but it's Cloud9 who prevailed over all else. And now, with their victory secured, we're going to join Cloud9's top laner and Gabby on stage for the Verizon post-game interview.
Thank you so much, CaptainFlowers. For the second split in a row, we have our champions, Cloud9, here on the stage. And I've got Fudge up here first. I bet you already know this. No one had Cloud9 #1 in their power rankings going into the split. The fan vote had at #3. Last time when you were up on the stage and you were asked to say something to all the doubters, you said, "I told you so." What do you have to say now in this moment?
I can understand why people didn't put us first, but I think that at this point, people will stop underestimating us. I think we're very clearly all the best players in our roles, and I'm happy that we improved a lot throughout the split, and obviously I'm happy to continue my win streak.
I think everyone stopped doubting you a long time ago during this split. You did have a very troubling opponent though, GG coming in after surging their top laner, making some crazy plays to get here on the stage. How are you and the rest of the squad handling facing off against them here today?
I think Golden Guardians actually improved a lot throughout the split. During regular season, I definitely didn't think of them as like a top 4, top 3 team. And they improved so much during playoffs. They looked really, really clean. And even in, wow, these guys are carrying people.
Oh my.
Even in the games against us, we were playing, I mean, they were outplaying us in like game 1 and 2, especially in early games. So I think huge props to them, honestly. They exceeded expectations a lot. And obviously, Licorice, I think, rebounded a lot. I think he improved so much as well. So good job to Licorice. I'm really proud of him.
Speaking of exceeding expectations, you are in fact player of the series for this final.
What?
Yeah. Say what? Which I feel like to some might feel obvious when you're looking at recent years and think, oh, Fudge is an absolute monster. But isn't it crazy to think about when you debuted in the LCS? The sentiment around then, now 3.5 years later into Cloud9, what do you point to as the biggest points of improvement for yourself and why you are considered such an undeniably strong player, not just as a top laner, but a leader for the team?
I think I was very lucky that I got to join C9 because I think that coaching staffs have been the best I could ever have. I think I improved so much individually through all the coaches, and I also have really good teammates, so I always have really good teammates. I was very lucky that I got to join in my rookie year such a good team, and I also think that as a player, I'm very, very good at improving, and whenever I play internationally, I think I take a lot from it. Last year, I think at Worlds, I didn't hate myself, but I was really unhappy with my performance. And even though we won today, I'm not really satisfied until I go to MSI and prove that I can play against the best players in the world.
But compared to that level of feeling unhappy with yourself before, do you feel more happy now?
What'd you say, sir?
Do you feel more happy now compared to the last time when you're saying you weren't very happy?
Compared to the last time we won, I was more happy back then. But I think if I improve a lot and I play well at MSI, that will be the most satisfying to me, for sure.
We're looking forward to seeing you at MSI, Fudge. Thank you so
very
much for
much.
joining me. I know all your teammates are hanging around back here. I think it's time to hear from a couple more. Do you want Blaber and Emenes? You want to come on up?
Let's all go.
Well, here. Come on down, Blaber. You come too. Are you ready to cry too, it sounds like?
Don't make me cry too, not again.
If I can get a word, it sounds like you're very emotional, you're feeling a lot. Can you tell me a bit about why you're so emotional in this moment? It's okay. It's okay if you need a moment.
Because last year, I never imagined that I will get this opportunity. And I don't know what to describe.
We'll give you a moment. In the meantime, Blaber, I know you're feeling some type of way as well. 2 back-to-back titles. Clearly a lot of love shared between the mid-jungle duo that has developed in only 20 games that you've played together.
Wait, really? 20? Not bad.
Something like that.
Not bad. He did good today. I'm proud of him. Good job, dude.
Thank you.
I think you all played very, very well today. I mean, Blaber, what does this say just going into MSI and the resilience that you have all shown, bringing this roster together in such a fashion and believing in your teammate as well as everyone else on the staff?
Yeah, I mean, it feels really good to go to MSI. Last MSI, I had some accidents. We didn't do so good. So hopefully this MSI will be better for us. And I'm just really glad, we were able to achieve something through all our hard work this split. Some people doubted us at the beginning of the split. I don't know why. We were the defending champions, and we proved them wrong today.
Proved everyone wrong. Emenes, you proved everyone wrong. Thank you so much for everything you put on the stage and here in this interview. Is there anything you would like to say? I know you said Cloud9 is life and that you wanted to say a bit more about that, but even this says a lot, right?
What can I say? Just C9 Emenes.
C9 Emenes. Thank you, both of you. I think there's just a lot that we got to witness in your gameplay. I'll let you live in this moment a bit more. You want to step back with your team? Give it up for Emenes. Make that noise. Before I let you go, any words from you as well? For the
No, I'm
crowd?
just really happy, you know? And I hope this time, I think this is the year NA's gonna do something internationally, so. I'm hopeful.
Nice words to part with, Blaber. We'll relieve you of these mics and hand them to your teammates. Enjoy, keep looking at that trophy, enjoy the moment. Then come on down. All right, fellas.
Huh?
I said, all right, fellas. The bot lane action coming through. This is your second back-to-back, but as support this time around again. Last time you borrowed some words from Afromu saying support is so easy, but now, what do you have to say this time?
I don't think I played well enough to talk shit today, so.
You don't think so?
Huh?
You
Kinda
don't think
agree.
so?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just what it is. You know, sometimes you play really well, sometimes you don't. And this was one of them where I played fine, like good enough to win because I have a better team, but I didn't play well enough to talk shit today. So, I mean, I think I owe Golden Guardians an apology. I wasn't really familiar with their game. I think they played better than I thought they would. So,
Berserker, you also said that you were expecting FlyQuest originally and not Golden Guardians.
yeah.
Did that throw you off at all when playing them? What were you expecting from Golden Guardians coming in today?
Like obviously Golden Guardians just mid jungle, like, you know, they're pretty good at early game, like something. So we just care for that and we're winning.
Zven, I know that you said you don't believe you played as well in this series, but I think looking collectively at what you're able to do as a bot lane, there's a lot of greatness there, a lot of strength. What is it about your development as a duo that continues to allow you to get that edge over everyone else?
I mean, I think at first it was the Berserker show. You know, play Lulu and Nami and just, hey, Berserker, you go carry this one. Woo! And then now, in the split, I was playing more Heimerdinger. I was playing, you know, the Rakan. I was playing a lot more champs that had more to say in the game. And I felt like pretty good playing that through the split. I think I had a really good split overall, but not this series. I was just along for the ride, I think.
But still putting in work for the overall championship that was achieved by this team. Berserker, you seem very excited to go to MSI and you want to be able to show out on the international stage. Now going to MSI as the champions, what does that do for your confidence? Confidence as #1 seed going into MSI. How confident do you feel in you and Cloud9?
I mean, we did bad like last year World, so we can show now like we kind of something changed, right? So I want to go MSI like fast.
Get there fast to show the work that you can put in. Zven, I know that when you decided to swap to support, you said multiple times that people like Berserker, now the MVP, are the reason that you're willing to do so, to find that success on the international stage. What are your thoughts going into MSI and showing out with Cloud9?
I mean, I wouldn't want to play with him because I knew he was the only one in LCS that I thought was better than me, or could be better than me. So I said I'm not playing support unless it's with him. So that's the first thing. And then for MSI, this year around, I want to be... At Worlds, we had no idea what to play or what to do. We were lost as a team. This year, I think we have a much better identity. We know what to play, how to play, and I feel much more confident that we can at least, you know, not go 1-5 and lose in groups.
Confidence is key. Before I let you go, Berserker first. Words for fans, the fans that have supported you. What would you like to say to the fans?
I mean, I always said like, thank you for cheering me and like, thank you for like cheering for Shinan, right? But I'm really proud, like, you guys, my fan?
Yeah, your fans.
You know? I really appreciate. Thank you.
Nice.
Thank you guys.
Zven, any last words to round us out? Any last words from you before we throw it?
Cap.
What was that?
She said cap.
Cap. That's
He
apparently
just jealous. Yeah.
Cap is the last word that we are hearing from the mics here on the stage. Thank you so much for joining me for the interview. Congratulations again on the victory here today. All the Cloud9 fans, super happy, I'm sure. Let's talk more about this matchup. Back over to the analysts.
Thank you so much, Gabby. Congratulations once again to Cloud9, your 2023 LCS Spring Champions. They get it done in 3-1 fashion. Really felt like they started to find their rhythm on the back half of that series after truly being tested in the early stages, Raz.
Yeah, they recognized the early game was getting a little tough, so they went right back to what they knew best. Lock in the LeBlanc, let Emenes go, and it was working.
Even game one, the fact that they bounced back from that, I don't think there's any other team in the LCS who could have fallen that far behind in game one and found their way back into it. Speaking of the fact that they're not just an early game team. So
yes.
Very incredible stuff out of Cloud9, kind of showing the full range of League of Legends.
Yeah, really good vibes from them as well. They don't need to be at their best in order to win games, which I think is very interesting about this team, and it'll give them a lot of confidence going towards MSI with double elimination. By being the first seed, it means they're making it into the bracket stage straight up. So really looking forward to see what they can give us on the international stage.
And even interviewing them during this, right? Like you could hear, like, we want to go to MSI. Like we want to be able to prove ourselves in international competition. So I think they were always looking in that direction. They were expecting, like fully expecting to be here, regardless of what we or anyone else thought. And you know, it's just a credit to C9. It's a credit to these players. The system, which really shouldn't be a meme anymore, but I'm sure will continue to be one.
Look at how much system is on stage right now.
Dude, I know, look at that.
When you look at the squad come up, you're like, they're like termites. They just keep coming out.
Trust every part of that
all these C9 people, I'm like, I never see them around the studio, and suddenly there's 30 people.
Termites.
Well, they're the reverse termites. They're building them. They're building them up.
They're building. Yeah, there we go.
Exactly, reverse termites.
Incredible. Well done, Mark. I knew you had it in you.
Wow.
But to hit that more on a serious note, I mean, how cool, right, for a number of those players in their interviews to recognize that. Fudge talking about how lucky he feels to have been able to join Cloud9 as an organization, specifically when he moved to the LCS, the coaching staff, and how he feels like he was able to be built up. The fact that Zven said, it wasn't my best day, but it didn't need to be my best day in order for us to come away from with a championship.
Yeah, I think you can see that in no one else but Emenes, right? Like obviously this is a really emotional moment for him with everything that has happened in his career. You know, he has owned up to a lot of that, and again, came to C9, says, I want to be not only a better player, but a better person. And C9 is the team that can do that for me. And I think the trust they showed in him in the series was amazing, and he paid them back in full.
Yeah, and I mean, going through the earlier interviews, specifically Fudge and Zven, to be fair, improvement-driven players. Like talking about how, compared to the last time we won a championship, sure, they were happy there, but they want to consistently look towards MSI, prove something by getting there, but just looking at the elation of Berserker, as you can see in front of you, but definitely Emenes, the emotion going through him of being able to be in this position, hoisting a championship in front of fans that are like, new fans. This is, it came very quickly.
Here it comes.
Run.
Here it comes. Let's go.
Emenes, run.
Book it around the arena.
Is he going all the way down, or is he
okay.
He's hoisting it.
Staying close to home.
True.
Staying close.
There it is.
Let's go.
Run, Emenes, run.
What is becoming the C9 Classic.
Oh, they lost the cameraman.
He's too fast.
He's too fast.
It is really cool to see like the range of experience on the Cloud9 roster for Emenes, the first win, how emotional it is for him, like you were saying, Emily. And then, you know, Blaber was in that shoes not just last split, where he was having a moment on stage. I think for some of the other players, it's about like getting back to the international performance, reproving themselves in situations. I really liked when Berserker said, like, it felt like the fans became my fans this split, where like you join a popular org like C9, of course people cheer you on because you're the new C9 AD carry, but I think Berserker did such a better job this split of kind of standing out both on the Rift and off the Rift as just like his own person. It was really cool to follow him in content and everything like that.
Yeah, and just being on the team or being in the LCS with a little bit of time gets the familiarity there. Yes, they're just soaking it in.
I was going to say, Content King continues to be king in that regard.
But yeah, the familiarity is there. Berserker is such an, like, not an emotional player. He is like, he is somebody that's going to let you know how he feels. The same is true for Emenes. Watching him stream, watching him after games, hearing him in his interviews. Like, if he feels something, he's going to let you know. So that's what makes fans really love them. Excellence in-game, and then showing it out of game 2.
Jack getting his turn with the trophy, oh so deserved. Trisha in there as well, one of the bigger acquisitions as well for Cloud9 coming into the year. And Mithy, who's been the coach of that squad for a bit of time now.
Got Armeo back there in the back right.
They do.
Two-time Proving Grounds champion, was actually 1 game away from winning 2021 Spring Finals against Blaber. But when no one would pick him up, they picked him up as a positional coach because he is, in my opinion, still worthy of an LCS slot.
I agree.
But helps,
I agree.
Helps, however smallly, to get C9 another title.
Yeah, got Blaber his 4th title as well now, creeping up the list of all-time title holders. I think for a lot of people, it's already a debate if he's the best jungle in LCS history. It depends how much you want to wait. Smithy's bigger accolades in the international performance so far, also having a longer career. But then for him, just potentially climbing the list up of just general best players of all time in North America.
And not just that 4th LCS championship, right, Emily? He was looking for that back-to-back, and he finally gets it.
Yeah, I think Blaber, because, again, he started his career splitting time with Svenskeren. He has been on so many good teams, and I feel like he's felt that they've been consistently good enough to win finals, right? So seeing that come to fruition for him, where he did highlight it as something that he really, really wanted to get, that kind of consistent championship dominance, is great.
Yeah, Raz, it really looks like he's trying to find that consistency of dominance that will eventually insert him into conversations up against the likes of Bjergsen, Xmithy, and double-elimination, the current people who have a few more titles than him.
100%. You already asked the fans right now, they'll probably tell you that he's the best. But having championship trophies stacking up is going to make that case a lot easier to the old guards.
I mean, for me, Blaber's the best jungler in LCS history.
There it is.
There you have it.
And in terms of all-time ranking, I still think his career's not over, but he's going to be in the conversation if he keeps going.
Yeah, the pace of accolades that he's picking up, the multiple MVPs, the titles in a row since he's taken over 2020 as the full-time starter for C9. It's a pretty incredible pace that, like, you saw sometimes in the earlier splits of the LCS. double-elimination had his kind of dynasty. It does feel like it's kind of the C9 and in particular Blaber dynasty that we're kind of the era that we're in right now.
Yeah, and something that's so good for him as a player is that I already talked about his flexibility with the teammates that he's worked with, but that's certainly true with the metas that has changed. We've kind of talked about him as somebody who excels as an aggressive jungler that plays around him. But if the meta is changing consistently, it feels like he's developing as a player as well. If Maokai is the best champion that's being rotated around, he's the Maokai player.
Like, to his chagrin.
From Olaf, running over games, from Hecarim, you know, with a Yuumi latched onto him too.
You ain't got to be happy about it, but he's doing it.
Hey, it gets you the dubs, it gets you the dubs. And the fact that he has become much more of a diverse player in that regard, right, with the styles in which he can kind of chameleon himself into has been spectacular to witness. And while he continues to evolve as a player, we look back at Emenes once again, rookie champion, first split in the league. And he does it in fewer games than anyone has ever done it before. Coming in midway through the split, some people question the move, some people question the acquisition to begin with, and he ultimately delivers.
More playoff games than regular season games.
That's fine.
Yeah.
9 wins in the playoffs in the 3 series, 9-2 in regular season.
Yeah, all those are also wins for rookies where they played the entire split. I think he's the only one to have come in as a rookie halfway through and then won. So very, he's in his own little club now.
So not only Blaber, Emenes, you know, making marks as individuals, this just adds to the long list of history for Cloud9 as an organization. We talk about them celebrating 10 years in the league.
Yeah.
And the number of times that they have made it to the finals, that they have won or ended up in that runner-up position. And we had question marks there on that bottom row at the top of the day. And now we can complete the list. They are winners yet again.
They're streakers too. Look at this, 2 in a row, then second place 6 times in a row, in terms of when they're
there,
or not. And now 4 consecutive wins once they make it to finals. So that puts them at 6 all time. I believe TSM is at 7, Team Liquid is at 4. So if they keep this up, they could be, I mean, it's pretty undisputable they're the greatest org in LCS history, but it would be completely undisputable if they can hit that mark later this year.
And take a look at Jack one more time hoisting the cup, and we got images of the fans who are, of course, walking out happy. A lot of C9 fans happy, because all of those wins.
You found the
the one fan!
Happier!
There it is.
All right, well, you know what? We'll take it.
Production value.
It's like, let's find the one fan that are just looking aimlessly. But yes, the main point being all of those championships. That is history. That is continued success. The coaching staffs, the organization, the management that built this up along the way. That's what gets you long-term fans. And, I mean, it's going to continue on. So it's just nice to see.
Yeah, there's this, this other element of all of this, right, is now looking forward. And you already heard a number of the players on that stage start talking about it, right?
Yeah.
They're hungry now to put up a showing that North America can be proud of. You heard Blaber say it. He thinks this is the year. This is the time. And
what's something, though? I like what he said. I want to know. Let's go
you want him to put a place to the name? There it is. Our two MSI 2023 representatives from North America will be both Cloud9 and Golden Guardians.
Very interesting changes to MSI this year that I'm super excited about. The fact that there's basically no group stages. It's almost all bracket play, double round robin, or excuse me, double elimination.
Yeah.
So that means that you're going to get multiple best of fives to prove yourself for a team like C9. And I'm really excited about that. I'm hoping that leads to a Europe versus NA matchup in particular.
There it is.
That's something that would count as a dub to me, as well as hopefully taking down a team from the LPL or LCK.
I remember the last Worlds, a lot of people loved it because of higher level of competition. Now that we have more Korean teams, more Chinese teams, more European teams, and we're bringing in Golden Guardians alongside C9, like those games are just going to be fun no matter what. So I can't wait for it, from the level of competition straight to the format itself.
We got another big piece of business to get through here at the end of the day.
Oh, what is
that? That is awarding our player of the series for your 2023 LCS Finals. The player who earns the honors.
Technically, Gabby already said it.
Is not the man who's doing the dance. It is, in fact, Fudge.
Yeah, he had such a good series here. It was very interesting because coming into the series, it looked like Licorice was on this huge revenge tour, but the guy that C9 picked up immediately after Licorice had left was Fudge, and he just popped off in multiple games.
Yeah, game 3, the CSD will probably jump out to you, but you remember that was the Renekton into the Kennen game, knowing that you're going to fall down a little bit early on in that matchup, but then still stacking waves, making dives happen, and that was kind of one of the champions that he allowed the rest of C9 to pick on. Then Emenes started going up there, and all these other people started killing Licorice over and over, but it was off the back of his Renekton play.
Absolutely, including the solo kill that he had on side lane, and then that team fight that was like the moment he got that flash EQ on towards Zeri, it was like, okay, well, you won them the fight. So great job to Fudge throughout the series. He was surprised by it. I wasn't.
Well, and we heard CaptainFlowers talking about, that game number 1 and the importance of Cloud9 being able to come back. And I think his Olaf performance was such a big element of that, right? This series could have looked very different if just game 1 goes a different way.
Yeah, and you heard it from him too, like where he was like, last, at Worlds, like I didn't feel like I had a really strong performance. So he's super, super hungry to now go and test his skills once again against international top laners, which I'm really, really curious to see, especially after today. I think he's a lot more flexible than people give him credit for.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love Fudge's dedication to the game itself. Like he's someone who really wants to understand like matchups and minion waves, and like whenever you actually talk to him about the game, he can be really, really thoughtful about how he's approaching, like what he wants to learn. That's something I've always really admired about him as a player. So I do hope that he gets his wish, right? I hope he goes to MSI, learns a lot of stuff, and does super well.
Any final thoughts before I close this thing up?
Thanks for coming back and doing the finals. Opening ceremony.
Good to be back. Thank you so much, my friend. Yeah, that was going to be a part of my farewell in this. I am so grateful to have been able to step back into a live arena and experience the greatness that is live competitive League of Legends. The LCS will always be near and dear to my heart. With that, congratulations once again to Cloud9 on being your 2023 LCS Spring Champions. It is so well deserved. They and Golden Guardians on their way to MSI before we return for a beautiful summer split. And until we see you next time, stay healthy, stay safe, and be good to each other. Good night.
Miss.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the LCS playoffs. We are kicking off some best of 5 action here today with FlyQuest and 100 Thieves.
Vikla is a one-man army as he shreds Double Lift on the back line.
Yeah, he's the Terminator and he was built to kill Double Lift.
It's gonna be FlyQuest striking first.
This is the FlyQuest that came to play. Vikla goes after Double Lift and he finds the shutdown. It's 2 kills over to FlyQuest and they ain't done yet. Prince leads the charge. Everybody dies on 100 Thieves.
It's a statement series for FlyQuest.
FlyQuest have earned themselves a spot in Raleigh.
Emenes going in, he gets the chunk, but is the follow-up good from Cloud9? Cutting into the scrap of CLG. Palafox, can you make the stand against Fudge? What he's got coming for you in the Nexus? A stand from Cloud9! CLG are in the driver's seat of the fight. Going on in, getting the shutdown, the action of Palafox, zone off, and all the way on the wayside. C9 falling 1 by 1.
Oh, they're starting to get a little low.
Boom, effectively brought out of the fight here to shield the back line. The knockback of multiple members of CLG, they cannot escape.
I think Cloud9, in my opinion, the strongest team right now. But the other teams, I think, is really a bloodbath.
He sees it, 2,000 HP, 1,000. Oh my goodness, Closer clutches the steal.
Closer's a smooth criminal, man.
Lucio's looking, they have eyes on him, and River just has to back away.
Yeah, I mean, the flash, the guarantee, the knockup, there's no way the River gets out of that one.
That's Boogeyman Lucio for you.
Stixxay!
Oh my God!
Stixxay turns one, he flashes back, he's still alive! Closer tries to look for the punish, but Closers get taken out! Golden Guardians now on the front, Double Lift is gone! Golden Guardians upset 100 Thieves and advance to the playoffs!
Luger's in the middle of everybody! Luger's going down! EG found the AD carry, and now what in the world is CLG gonna do about it? Evil is back, baby! They want to go for a cheeky recall. Volca, I don't know what the hell that was, but now he's dead. Palafox goes back over the wall. He's on FBI. EG, they screwed around and they found out. This is the CLG that people wanted to see. FBI's already got a triple kill now with the contracts. Luger fights out a little bit, but there's another kill. FBI and Evil Geniuses are standing tall. Now the TP's coming in. Now Fudge is ready to go. They still might lose this Drake. No! Blaber's got the secure, and C9's got soul point. It's an absolute murder scene for C9, and they'll take game 1. FlyQuest is just going to engage first. They've already killed Vikla, and that's one of the huge damage dealers. Ayla drops next. C9's just going for it. Impact only gets there in time to see everything on fire, but C9 is a war machine. The Maokai ulti is flown out, and it's beautifully stolen away by Spica to try to save the day for FlyQuest. It was number 1 versus number 2, and number 1 let you know exactly how good they are. C9 are going to the finals, and they're going to MSI.
I just never felt like I could truly win until I played with this roster. So for me, it's like, I'm kind of like putting up my heart into this team, like into this playoffs.
A big blast of damage onto FBI, who's zoned out, stunned and locked. Vulcan's out of it. Huhi next to fall, and they're shut down onto JoJo. Golden Guardians turning onto the damage output of EG and taking it away. It's a triple kill for Stixxay. Inspired goes Golden, but so does Huhi, and Vulcan separated by Gori. JoJo, that's gonna be a blast. Almost hits on his head, but the Frozen Tune keeps him into it. River wants to finish him off. That's an ace. Evil Geniuses are dead. GG's resolve holds strong, punching their tickets to North Carolina, playing finals weekend for the first time.
It is our lower bracket finals. It is FlyQuest, the 2 seed, up against Golden Guardians, the 6 seed. Let's head down to Rafa to meet our teams.
They've had their eyes on the trophy all split long. Give it up for FlyQuest! A team of veterans that have been silencing doubters time after time. Give it up for the Golden Guardians!
Vikla down to 300 HP. He might just die here at the very start. He holds on a second longer, but Stixxay guns him down. FlyQuest try to fight back, but Prince is the victim of regicide, and it's a triple kill over to Stixxay. will win in, but Stixxay went up. He dodged away from the Malphite engage, but the follow from Speaka was up, but it wasn't. Golden Guardians turn it around. Double kill after the Stixxay.
Licorice got a 4-person Malphite ultimate there, and they're gonna run it straight to the Nexus. The best season in the history of the organization, and they are walking towards their first ever finals appearance.
I love this game. I love this community. I love our pro players. And I love that every time they face off, it's something deeply personal. I love a good League of Legends story. And this one, it starts now!
Taking some damage here as huhi and Stixxay drop the ignite. Stixxay just goes in, and Zven goes down. He finds Berserker, throws him up into the air. Licorice is ready for the follow-up, but he can't get the valuable target. Licorice died, and Berserker takes the kill. But C9 are still fighting in a 3v3. Fudge got a shutdown. Licorice, they just got that. A double undertow. Gori's coming around from the side. It's Blaber with the smite again. Now Gori's in the middle. Licorice with a massive maelstrom, but it's not massive enough just yet. Berserker does die, but now Fudge is gonna kill off the enemy Cassante. Licorice is down. Cloud9 just killed all of them.
Blue. Back. No flash. Okay. Take front.
Sejuani.
Look. Call it. Watch it.
Nice!
No kills back. Triple kill Gori. And Emenes teleports in, only to immediately have to use the hourglass. He's killed instantly, and Gori gets his revenge. Blaber tries to run, but Licorice is an unstoppable force. And Fudge is a movable object. Stixxay's hitting a full culling. You wanted to see the MVP? There he is. And now they find some CC on huhi, some burst on River, a kill for Berserker, and no counterpunch to the Golden Guardians. Emenes and Zven moving forward. Blaber finds a charge into the wall, but it's only under River's clone. Now Zven's one to lock down Licorice, and Emenes gets the kill. Gori and huhi stand alone. Cloud9 don't lose a man. They march through the Nexus turrets. They march through the remaining players. They're the champs, and they're the champs back to back. The LCS shines bright blue, and Cloud9 are your Spring 2023 champions.